and graffiti.
If you don't write, you're nobody. Like, nobody knows who you are.
Who are the young people who vandalize America's cities?
I like to do as much damage as I can while I'm out here.
And why are they battling each other with spray cans and with guns?
Go, go, go! You want to take my turf, you take me out.
Spray paint who trash buses, benches, buildings. It's a problem out of control in scores of cities, particularly here in Los Angeles. Ron Reagan has spent some time inside the world of the taggers and reports that as they fight for turf, more and more graffiti and gunfire are going hand in hand.
It's all about getting up and using these cans.
I'm on my way, I'm making it.
Why do I tag? Because it's fun.
We see something, we hit it, we run.
If you don't write, you're nobody. Like, nobody knows who you are.
We're tigers, that's it.
Taggers, they're the ones that just write a name on the wall and scribble it. Most of your tagger crews are 3 initials.
Superior and destructive.
They'll pick names that are more apt to pick a characteristic of their nature.
Now, I noticed that your aunt calls you Freddie.
Yeah.
She doesn't call you Looney. Everybody else calls you Looney, though, right?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that name?
It was given to me by one of my friends. They seen the way I was acting, so all of a sudden they just started calling me Looney.
For Looney and thousands of other teenage taggers, the urge to write on walls is so strong they are willing to risk going to jail or even losing their lives to do it.
Says the California Penal Code.
The tools of the trade, spray cans and magic markers. Their target, just about any surface they can reach.
Whoa, shit. That's totally awesome, dude.
And the risk of being injured or caught in the act is part of the thrill.
It's the adrenaline rush. Like, you run on the freeway, you could get hit by a car at any time. The police could come out, they could bust you. You get chased by dogs.
They want to be up as much as they can, as long as they can, and as big as they can.
You're looking for the hardest place for the city to reach, so they're not able to buff your name.
They have their own language.
It's about getting up.
But sometimes you gotta get the gas.
I'll still bomb me, can in the hall.
We don't want people ranking out.
Jumping in.
Their own dress code.
See, this is the way tag bangers dress. The khakis, Pendleton.
Strike a pose.
You want to take my turf, you take me out.
With names like Evil Kids, Shoot to Kill, and criminal-minded artists, tagger crews are getting bolder and more violent.
We ain't got taken out yet. We ain't gonna get taken out, period.
They look and act like street gangs.
If someone wants some, you can either step up, run up, or shut up. That's it. They don't rank out no more, see? Ain't nobody rank out.
They beat up new members to see how tough they are. They go on shoplifting sprees, stealing food and booze for parties.
With the beer run out. As you can see, it was a successful mission.
What started years ago as late-night mischief by a few lone wolf graffiti artists now happens in broad daylight, hit-and-run raids by swarms of taggers.
It cost Southern California $125 million.
If they slap me with a fine, at least I want it to be worth what I did, you know?
It cost the city of Los Angeles $25 million.
That's all I carry, man. This how you get it up. This, my money, that's it.
More and more taggers are now carrying guns, and they're not afraid to show them off for the cameras.
That's talking right there now.
The handgun is another form of recognition.
How easy is it to get a gun?
Oh, it's easy.
Yeah.
You gotta have the money, you know, the connections, and it's, you know, whatever one you want is yours.
How much money does it cost to get a decent handgun?
For a brand new one, like out of the box, you could get them like for $150.
$150.
Guns the ones to talk now.
What taggers have been saying through their use of guns is both troubling and tragic.
It's either, you know, kill or be killed. That's what you gotta do now. That's how you gotta live.
Happy birthday to you. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Payback's a bitch.
In recent months, crews like KWS have been spending more and more time at funerals. 22 LA taggers have been killed and dozens more wounded in shootouts with other crews.
My homie Sorrell, when they kill him, they pull out the gun to his head. They say, you better not say KWS. What do you say? KWS to the heart. You know what I mean? That's how we earn respect.
For too many taggers, respect at any cost has trapped them in a spiraling cycle of violence.
We're killing our own race and everything. That ain't right, but I guess that's the way it is, and I don't think it's ever gonna stop.
If you gotta pull this out sometimes, you gotta do it. But then we prefer doing this, you know, tagger style.
Y'all ready for this?
Tagger style used to mean settling beefs with a competition to see who could get their tag name up in the most places. But with so much competition and hatred among taggers, these days a battle means war, with real bullets, as our undercover crew discovered.
Oh, this is it. Here it's happening.
Go, go, go!
Me and my homeboy got off the car,
What brothers the rest like Elliot Ness?
and he was like looking out for me and everything.
Streets ain't a place for innocent bystanders.
While I was dissing him,
Nothing's gonna stop the plan.
and next thing you know, we seen two guys coming up the street. Just pulled out a gun and started shooting. They blasted like 2 or 3 times. I pointed the extinguisher in their direction, so like a big old cloud of smoke. We jumped in my homeboy's car and we took out.
Go, 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 go! Don't say goodbye, I don't plan to die.
What went through your mind when you hear somebody shooting a gun at you?
I don't know, like I just start getting hyper and I just want to go back and, you know, I don't know, I get all into it. I get like all hyped up and just everything.
Undaunted by the shooting, Looney and the rest of the taggers continued their hit-and-run foray, crossing out their enemies' tags.
Does that happen a lot?
Yeah.
Sometimes?
We're used to that.
Yeah? You're used to it. How used to getting shot at can you guess?
We're lucky, guys.
Now, how important is it to you to have your tag on a wall? Is it worth dying for?
Yeah. Well, you could see that.
Yeah? Is it worth killing somebody for?
Yeah.
Well, they get in the way. If you're gonna be a tagger, you can't show weakness.
In spite of the constant threat of violence from other taggers and gangs and the possibility of getting busted,
Stay right there.
most taggers say they intend to stay with it, at least while they're young.
And a lot of people do a lot of different things when they're young, you know? Some of them going to sports and everything, others going to other things, but my homies ain't losers. They're not gonna be doing this all the time, right? But we're doing it just to have a nice, you know, crazy life, you know?
Yeah, they call me Swag from KMT. That's how crazy we are. This KMT King's making trouble.
He calls himself Swack One. He's 19, a tagger with a crew called KMT, Kings Making Trouble.
Almost every KMT's got a piece on them. And you know, and like somebody get crazy, we just got to start shooting.
Although the taggers are quick to use violence against others,
Bam!
they see themselves as being invincible.
No KMT have died, no KMT have getting shot, nothing.
And it's not don't plan to. See, we're always more than 3 deep, and out of that 3 crowd, someone got a gun. So that's why we don't worry about getting caught slipping.
Caught slipping, caught alone. In time, those words would come back to haunt Swack and KMT.
He gonna hit up on the wall right now.
Few property owners have the opportunity or the nerve to confront graffiti vandals.
Fine, I'll just call the city and have them come clean it. Okay. You have to pay?
Yeah.
Fine, you clean it and I won't call the city.
All right, hey.
I don't want you bothering me.
Some take advantage of city-sponsored programs to clean up graffiti. So this is the place where they mostly graffiti you?
All along the back and along the side over here. So generally where it happens.
So let's paint it all one color, make it look uniform and make it look nicer.
As a businessman, is there a hidden cost to all of this?
Well, there's a major cost because we're all paying for that, program and through our taxes.
We are just tired of erasing the graffiti one night, waking up the next morning, and confronting the same problem.
You can't very much have too much pride in your neighborhood when you see it written up like that.
In East Los Angeles, residents are searching desperately for ways to deal with the problem.
We don't have no programs for our kids. That's the reason we have gangs, we have violence.
You don't take a 16-year-old and try to change them. You take a 6- and a 7-year-old and try to show them the right way.
The parents don't know what's going on. They're not aware of what their children are doing at night.
If I were like a cop or something, I'd get the same child who did it and make him paint it back.
Yeah, I'm getting it. Everybody, hands on your head. Hands on top of your head. Let's go.
Sandpaper commonly used to scratch the surfaces of the window.
Any sharp objects like that on you?
What else you got in this pocket here?
Nothing. Everything you see here. Don't worry about your shoestring.
Perhaps no agency does more to catch and prosecute taggers than the transit police, but even they are fighting a losing battle.
Now, what happens to you when the police pick you up for tagging?
I think they just take you into a station and, you know, call up your parents, see if they want to come pick you up.
Sending him through the judicial system and getting slapped on their hand or making him do community service, I feel is not working.
So you're a beginner is what you're telling me?
Well, what's the future here? Is there going to be more graffiti, more tagging, and more violence?
Unless we really start concentrating our efforts on prevention, education, and intervention, I don't see where else it can go.
Here's where it goes. Remember Swack, who was seen earlier brandishing an automatic pistol? One night, police found Swack's gun on the sidewalk, along with an empty shell casing, a beer can, and a pool of blood. In an apartment upstairs, they found Swack, killed by a bullet from his own gun.
People versus Frank Navarro.
Murder charges against the tagger accused in the shooting were dismissed because of conflicting evidence. One thing is certain. When Swack was killed, no one from KMT was with him. He was alone, caught slipping.
That's my first homie that ever passed away. The first and the last homie that ever passed away.
We really love him and we miss him. And we just...
Tag bangers. That's a term that probably hasn't been said out loud in at least 30 years. It's a mashup of the words tagger, or graffiti artist, and banger, aka gangbanger, tag banger. Fox News Undercover coined the term. The people involved in it, well, they were just a little too busy living that life. Tag banging was active back in the late 80s and 90s. It kind of faded away by the 21st century and no one really knows why. Press units guess, there's no money in it, but there was fame. Fame that came from respect. And back then, getting respect on the streets as an individual, or as a crew, or as a gang was paramount. Sure, there were the skaters, jocks, and musicians ranging from punk rock bands to MC and DJ battles. But we're talking about the 1990s, when LA was the gang capital of the world. Accounts may vary, but word on the street is that a tagging crew called AOB, or All Out Bombing, started the craze. Lots of taggers incorporated the Cholo gangster look, but these AOB heads were straight up thugs. They sported California Angels hats, Dickies, and flannels, instead of the more tagger look. The only way to know they were less gang and more rider was by looking at the shoes. Reeboks, Vans, Shell-toe Adidas, New Balance, and any Nikes other than Cortez were the identifiers. See, the name of the game was getting your name up. You'd see a tagging moniker spray painted on a wall, and usually the name of their crew was included too. If you crossed them out, that was a declaration of war. It's on you to call out the individual or the whole crew, but either way, it's dissing them, and the days of duking it out over it evolved. By the 1990s, if you got caught slipping, you'd get jumped, if you were lucky. You get to fight another day. But once tag banging gained momentum, so did the tools of the trade. Suddenly, it wasn't uncommon to pack a gun or knife along with spray paint cans and markers in your bag. Other crews soon got in on the action. Beef started, and what made it even more treacherous was that tagging crews clicked up with street gangs. Some belonged to both a crew and a gang, doubling their enemies overnight. In West LA, you had non-stop action, and they repped their hood along with sets like Sotel 13 and West Los. This meant that their bitter enemies, like the Culver City Boys or Santa Monica 17th Street, had to watch out for both NSA and these other barrios. In East Hollywood, there was MWA, or Most Wanted Artists, who linked up with MS-13, which meant 18th Street was fair game. OTR, or On the Run, were down with everyone from JFX or Jeff Rocks, DFS aka Drifters, and Rebels 13. NTS, or Notorious, also linked up with some hoods, as well as NHD, Knuckleheads. Sometimes the graffiti crew had no gang affiliates, so they had to walk a fine line in the neighborhood they lived in. You have a bunch of cholos drinking outside, and if they see you spray painting on a wall, they just might want to go see if you're a problem. And chances are they'll make one for you if you're a total stranger to them. One notable crew was CBS, out of Hollywood's Fairfax district. Can't Be Stopped, or California Bomb Squad, were known to be aerosol artists. These guys weren't satisfied with just scribing their name on a bus window or even doing heavens on a freeway sign. They took graffiti art to a whole new level, with veterans of the crew now hosting art gallery shows and even making documentary films. The same went for guys like West Coast artists, with members becoming professional artists, such as Mir One, who's from both WCA and CBS. But back in the 90s, even CBS got in on the tag banging fiasco. Imagine artists picking up a gun out of survival. Anger from CBS, who has a rather fitting nickname, was not someone you wanted to mess with. He'll beat your ass so hard you'll be trying to walk it off like Burbick versus Mike Tyson. Although CBS and the aforementioned NSA crew lived 6 miles apart, which is like a world away in LA, they were still battling it out for street dominance. On June 25, 1993, one of the original members and founders of CBS, Aaron Anderson, who went by Skate, tragically died when an Amway train struck him while he was bombing a freight train. This loss was deeply felt by a lot of crews in Los Angeles, especially his friends in CBS. He was bigger than life. Literally, since Aaron was 6'6" and weighed over 300 pounds. But it's also because he was a down-to-earth, solid dude who showed respect to a lot of writers and was a natural leader. Unfazed to talk to anyone, from the mayor of LA, Tom Bradley, to some cops sweating his friends. After Skate passed, Non-Stop Action and Can't Be Stopped started squashing their beef. Now it's common to see old-school members of these two crews hanging out together. Speaking of losses in the graph world, Eric Search 1 Ginsberg from UTI, SFE, RTDK, and TBK also died young in his sleep back in 2017. Out of respect, I'll just leave it at that. Search was another person who wasn't just some bomber. His art speaks for itself. Do you know how hard it is to invent your own font? It's not easy, especially doing it freehand. Search did that on stickers like it was nothing. Guys like him, Sleaze, Hex, Saber, Whisk, Sir, Slick, Gesso, Euler, and a bunch of others were street artists through and through. Tag banging was more of an inconvenience for them, a distraction from aerosol art. In East LA, there were the crazy-ass Mexicans, Cam. They pretty much had to live up to that name. In one incident, 2 members of KAM were killed. One was taken out for being in the wrong hood, and the other over a dispute involving a girl. Like I said, respect. And that went beyond crossing out tags on the walls. It was straight up gang shit. Staring at someone, or in gang speak, mad dogging them, was enough to get you seriously hurt. Then there were the racially motivated fights. A party and tagging crew called Boots out of South LA, but who were bused to a school in West LA, battled a local gang called MTO, Mexicans taking over. Thankfully, outside of a few scuffles, MTO and Boots settled their differences with football matches. Boots were roughnecks, but they weren't thugs. Some of them were jocks, taking their high school's B football team to win the league championship in 1990. Boots was a party crew, so a sort of peace treaty was formed, and they played ball with MTO instead of fighting. Afterwards, they showed good sportsmanship and ended their beef, shaking hands with many of them becoming friends. Sometimes you have to battle a guy to end it, once and for all. Down in the Culver City and Mar Vista areas, you had tag banger crews like LOK, Lords of Crime, and in Santa Monica, KSP, Kansas Street Posse, with the former clicked up with CXC and the latter with Santa Monica 17th Street Gang. Venice 13, meanwhile, had a graph crew down with them called Using Street Knowledge. But here's the thing, most riders got into tag banging back in the day, since the culture comes with an us versus them ideology. It's a competitive sport. Plus, when you're 14, 15, 18 years old, there's just a lot of testosterone to release, and that aggression manifests itself in violent tendencies. If it wasn't fighting, it was juvenile delinquency. Racking or shoplifting became an art in itself. Kids in the hoods of LA didn't have any money back then. We'd get what, like $10 from our parents for a weekend of fun? That is not enough to get beers, and especially tools of the trade like spray paint cans, markers, and in some cases, food. So we racked. Ever notice how spray paint cans are locked behind glass? That started in the 90s from the rise in theft. We have to make a special mention to Daniel Ramos.
Graffiti artist pleaded no contest today to 10 misdemeanor charges. Daniel Ramos, who uses the moniker Chaka, is believed responsible for causing $500,000 in property damage. The 18-year-old could face a possible 5-year jail term and $10,000 fine.
AKA Chaka, one if not the most prolific graffiti writers of that time. You'd see Chaka everywhere. In LA, of course, but also in San Francisco, San Diego, and even in Tijuana. On freeway signs, bus stop benches, trains, 10 stories up on a building, and his name was even on a drum kit in a Nirvana video. His bold, impact font style Chaka was up every mile or two in some areas. Ramos didn't have any interest in tag banging. He just wanted the infamy, and he got it. When he got busted, authorities estimated that he did $500,000 in damages and made graffiti a felony if there's more than $400 worth of damages. Ramos did jail time, was charged $10,000, and is now a celebrated figure in the graffiti world. Recently, he collaborated with Born and Raised, and his merch was highly sought after. Belmont Tunnels and the LA River were where the most prolific graph artists did their thing. Pieces, burners, throw-ups, block letters, wild styles, heavens, and general tagging got your name known if you did it there. It was illegal, of course, but it was easier to be crafty in these places since there were a lot of places to hide, and, if needed, to run from the police. You'd see massive top-to-bottoms like the infamous one seen here by the MTA crew, Metro Transit Assassins, or this famous one done by Sable. I mean, look at the size of that thing. Apparently, 14 MTAs were eventually arrested for the crime in order to pay millions in restitution. This is the heart and soul of graffiti, not tag banging, not some piece done on an iPad. Real graph is not permitted. It's illegal and always will be, barring those trendy eras when every auto body shop seemed to want a piece on their gate. Look, there's nothing wrong with making money from your art, but true blue graph is about putting your life on the line, sometimes quite literally, to get your name up. At its core, graffiti is not a violent act. I wouldn't call it a cry of resistance either. More of a way for the voiceless to be heard, to be seen, to be recognized, to be respected. And ultimately, a lot of these kids grew up to be men and women who graduated to professional art, creating beautiful expressions, political messages, surrealist paintings, cartoons, and maybe even designing that menu you're looking through at Burgers R Us. That's gonna do it. We hope that you enjoyed this tale of a little-known world called tag banging. See you in the next video. Peace.